Today, I'm going to show you what's inside a Nissan CVT transmission and how it works. Next, we're going to take this this oil cooler off. This the oil cooler. It has an inlet and an outlet. Transmission fluid goes in this and it flows in it, and water from the radiator after it's been cooled, it goes in this. It cools the oil that comes out of the transmission. Normally there will be an oil pan that's over here that covers this, but I've already taken the oil pan out before, so now we're gonna go ahead and take the valve body out. This is the valve body. It is basically the heart of the transmission. It directs fluid to all the components in the transmission. It allows the transmission to switch gears. These are different solenoids. They do different things. This is a high pressure switch. There's another high pressure switch right here. This is the temperature sensor. Temp sensor right here. This is the manual lever. This is what allows you to go in gear, in neutral, reverse, drive, and low. Right here, when you switch the gears in the car, this is what you are actually switching into the valve body. If you look inside the transmission casing, this is the transmission pump. It has an internal transmission pump. If you look at all these little different passageways, this is how the valve body directs fluid in these to control different components such as the forward clutch, the reverse clutch, and the variators. Now we are going to go ahead and take the front covers off. This is the front cover. This mechanism right here, this is the mechanism that works the park. So whenever you put the car in park, this is the mechanism that holds the gear so your car doesn't roll back and forth, so it stays locked in place. What we have here is the transmission pump. It doesn't have a traditional transmission pump. It has the transmission pump that's built in the inside and is driven by this chain off the torque converter. It's a high volume transmission pump. That was some of the improvement that Nissans are trying to make. This is the mechanism that engages park. So whenever you put your car in park, this right here engages the locking mechanism that's on the front cover. It locks these gears right here. It locks these pieces in place, and it locks the front differential so your car doesn't go back and forth. That's why when you put your car in park, you can't push it, because it locks this piece and it locks the front differential up. Okay, we're gonna take the differential off. This is the differential. It looks pretty good. I don't see no discoloring on the bearings. Bearings look pretty good. Gears look pretty good. I don't see anything wrong with this front differential. I don't see nothing bad. Everything look pretty good. There's no discoloring. Things look pretty good. The gears look pretty good. So I don't really see nothing wrong with this. We're gonna go ahead and dismantle the transmission pump chain. This is the chain that runs the transmission pump. We're gonna go ahead and take it out. Normally there's a clip right here. I've already taken the clip out. So you just pull on it like this. There's a bearing in here. You wanna always check also. These parts look pretty good. I don't see anything wrong with these parts. I don't really see what's wrong with this transmission yet, so I guess we're just gonna keep taking things apart until we find the problem. Okay, we're gonna continue on. I'm going to take this cover up. This cover is basically like a splash guard. It helps for like when fluid is splashing, so it helps prevent fluid from splashing out this direction. This is the oil pump. We've kind of exposed most of the oil pump. This is the transmission pump. We're going to go ahead and take this. This is the idler gear. This is where the transmission torque converter rests on. So we're going to go ahead and take this piece out. This is the idler pulley. This is where the torque converter rests on. There's a bearing in here. We just gotta check this bearing. It looks pretty good. There's also another bearing in here. Check it. It looks good. Next, we're gonna take we're trying to take the transmission oil pump out, but before we do that, we have to take the gear selector rod out. So we have to take a couple of components out before we can take the transmission oil pump out. We're gonna take this. These are one of the feed lines. This is a feed line that feeds transmission to different components, from the oil pump to different components of the transmission. We have to get this. Now that we have got the gear selector rod off, we can go ahead and take the transmission pump out. There is the transmission oil pump. Really nice oil pump. It's a high pressure relief valve right in here. These go bad. These usually also go bad. I forgot who makes an upgrade for them, but there's an upgrade for this high pressure relief right here. Let's go ahead and take the pump apart. Let's go ahead and take the pump apart so we can inspect the inside of it. This is what it looks like in the inside. Pretty much these little things right here, they move like this. They collect the fluid. So as the pump turns, they come out and then they collect the fluid. That's how it pumps. It's a really high volume pump, really good pump, good design. Normally these don't really go bad. The check valve the pressure relief valve go bad, but overall this pump. This is the front cover for the clutch pack. This is the piston in here, and what it does is the valve body towards the command, and it pushes fluid, and it pushes against this spring, and then this spring pushes against the clutch pack that's in here. That's how you engage the reverse. Just a bearing here. This bearing has some wear and tear on it. This is for the forward clutch pack. Now we're gonna go ahead and take the forward clutch pack out. These are the clutches. These are clutches for reverse. This is what pushes against the piston for reverse. We're looking for wear and tear on the clutches, and believe it or not, these clutches still look pretty good. The reverse clutches look really good. So I don't really see anything wrong with the reverse clutches. Looks pretty good. Pretty solid. This is the forward clutch pack. Bearing here. These are the forward clutch pack. These are the planetary gears right here. This is the planetary system. There's another set of clutches in here for the forward clutch. Snap ring. Wow, these look burnt out. Wow, this may be some of the problems right here. Wow, these forward clutches look burnt out. Yeah guys, these forward clutches, the secondary forward clutches look burnt out. Look pretty bad. They're in rough shape. Now that we've removed everything from in the front section, we're gonna go ahead and flip the transmission and look at the variators. Now we're going to remove the variators cover. The variators are located inside this cover, so we're just gonna go ahead and take it out. Okay guys, these are the variators. This is the input and the output. This is what separates a CVT transmission versus a regular transmission. A regular transmission is hydraulic driven. They have gears, and you can switch. It switches through gears. These ones don't have no gears. It's belt driven. Let's go ahead and take this. Let's go ahead and take this belt out. If you were wondering how a CVT transmission can switch gears without having a gear, it's very simple. In every CVT transmission, there's two variators in there. There's the input variator and the output variator. The input variator drives the output variator by a metal belt. Now, the input variator, it's controlled by the torque converter. The torque converter determines how fast or how slow or how much this variator is going to spin. And then when this variator spins, it also works this variator. So this variator drives this variator by this belt. For this video, I'm not going to call these variators. I'm just going to use the word pulleys because it makes it easier to explain when I say pulleys. So let's say jump in your car, you put your car in drive and you start rolling. Let's say your first gear has a gear ratio of 10:1, meaning that this variator would spin 10 times, this input variator would spin 10 times, and this output variator would spin 1 time. That's a 10:1 gear ratio. So let's say you're rolling down the road and your car moves on the second gear. We're going to use the ratio 7:1. So your second gear has a gear ratio of 7:1. So what happens is this input pulley would turn 7 times and this output pulley would turn 1 time. But then you're asking how? It was just 10:1. How does it change its gear ratio? Easy. These pulleys have the ability to change its size, how big or how small it gets. That's how it changes the ratio. For example, if you look in here, see how this shape like a cone shape, and when this part moves up and down by transmission fluid because it's hydraulic, so it moves up and down. That's how it does. Both of these can change its size whenever in different driving condition. But one thing you have to know, both of these pulleys have to work together. If one changes its size, the other has to do the opposite. So if one gets bigger, one has to get smaller. There's no way around it, because the belt that drives the output variator, it's a fixed size, so this belt doesn't expand, doesn't get bigger. So if the input pulley makes itself bigger, the output pulley has to get smaller. That's just how it works. If you are wondering why Nissan CVT transmission fails all the time, it's very simple. They get too hot, they overheat. This metal belt is riding around in this metal variator at a high rate of speed. It creates a lot of friction, and friction creates heat, so the transmission oil gets hot, really hot. Over time, the oil loses its integrity and it starts breaking the transmission down. It starts to mess the seals up, it messes the forward or reverse clutches up, it messes the valve body up, it just screws the whole transmission up. Now, one really way you can, I can't say you can prevent a CVT transmission from going bad, but what I could say is you can kind of extend its life a little bit more, is to frequently change your transmission fluid. Now, Nissan recommend that you change it at every 30,000 miles, but what I tell my customer is to change it at every 20,000 miles. Now, it's not going to 100% prevent your transmission from going bad. All it's going to do is prolong its life a little bit longer. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to this channel and like this video. It's really gonna help grow the channel, and it's gonna encourage me to make more videos like this.